Welcome to the Paisley Pirates podcast, your ringside pass to players, coaches, and the people who keep the fire burning. The ship sails with all of you on board.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. So for everyone listening tonight, I'm joined by Captain Chris Turley and our alternate captains, Chris Wilson, Marcus Murdoch and Marty Simpson. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us.
No.
So has any of you guys ever done anything like this before? Is this the first time kind of sitting down and having a chat like this?
Aye, first time. Yeah, first time for me as well.
Yeah, same. Nobody ever wants to listen to what we've got to say, Callum. So that's it.
Don't be listen. If it's anything compared to what Ian and Rab were saying, I'm pretty sure that they'll listen to what you guys have to say for sure. So let's kind of quickly have quite a bit of a reflection on last season for yourselves. So collectively, was there any kind of game or any moments this season that sticks out as quite a pivotal point? And in your own opinion, why?
Well, in my perspective, I really think it was when we started to kind of get back into the swing of like how we were basically training and we wanted to play. So when we basically started taking the games to other teams instead of either basically seeing how they were going to play or basically going in and be like, each team has got a couple of dangerous guys and then try to play around them. We just went out and we started playing our own game and then teams started to struggle against us. So I think that was when we started to pick up that's where we were trying to push, especially for playoffs and try to push on towards the end of the season.
It's just the same as Marcus, but I think I can't remember if it was one of the last league games or the early playoff games against Dundee when we went to overtime with them and we showed that we're capable of actually playing at that level of hockey, and that we could have had that all season, but just little tweaks towards the end of the season gave us that ability to do it. So I think it just kind of helped us build confidence. And if you like, when you look at the playoffs, we're very unlucky not to get through to the finals weekend. It was coming down to a silly mistake in the third period from just either tiredness or just lack of concentration, and that's what cost us getting to the playoffs weekend.
Yeah, actually, there was probably a few that getting maybe halfway through the season, there was maybe it was towards the kind of like last quarter of the season, there was a game in Edinburgh where it just started to feel like it started to click a wee bit. I think Marcus scored a penalty shot. I remember Marty scoring a penalty shot, and from there it almost just felt as if everyone had a wee bit of a belief. I think it was always there. We always maybe had like 2-period games and we were the wrong side of tight games, but after that it felt as if from there everybody believed that we could go and kind of pull together results from tight games. And I think we generally start the seasons quite slow, and we don't get into breakhead really early. We probably start to kind of build through the season and start to hit form towards the end of the season into the playoffs. And it was probably the same last year, that type of game where you just get over the line, or you maybe didn't play great, but you get the results and you get the bounces, and there's some individual moments of brilliance that kind of get you over the line. So I think everyone started to believe after that type of result.
Basically, it's just the same as well. Yeah, just it's always the same with us. We're always sort of late starting and late sort of coming. I think it's always a better second half of the season's normally always better, and we always seem to come in our own a bit. Do you know what I mean? But. Just in general, it's always just falling at the hurdle type of thing. Just I don't know, just at the end, I don't know, man. We're better sort of the later half of the season anyway. So we're all the time.
We were kind of talking with Ian and Rab about the kind of cultural evolution of the team, how the team's kind of growing steadily younger as the seasons have gone on. How are you guys, as you know, you're senior members of the team? You know, I'm not just talking about age. I'm talking about the status within the team as well. How are you guys fostering that culture?
I think there's a part of it like from us as like senior players that we can do quite a lot, through training, through games, through the season. But I think the younger players probably started to believe it. I think anyone in this call and some of the older guys as well, I think we start every season thinking we're going to win every single game, was different when the younger guys started to believe it a wee bit and start to see the results and started to chip in the points. I felt as if we got a wee bit of momentum when that came together, and there was a belief from the whole team.
Well, just going off of what Willie said, so like for us, like the four of us basically pushing and believing in the team as well. Like we're always there to support the younger guys, also supporting the rest of the guys in the team. Fortunately enough for the dressing room that we've got, it's not as if anybody is out there for themselves. Everybody's team first mentality. So if someone's having even just a bad training session, like everybody's behind each other. So like you've got your older guys and everything are constantly trying to compete in training, and then you've got the younger guys that are competing for a spot as well. So that compete all the way through, regardless if it's a game, training, or even just doing off ice and everything as well. It seems everybody wants to compete to actually put the results in each weekend, and also like boost the morale within the dressing room as well. So just everybody being behind each other. It's not just on the four of us, fortunately. Obviously we do everything that we can, but it seems everybody's kind of bought into the mentality that we're looking to kind of produce from the team, which makes our lives a lot easier, just try to push on through season to season.
Mm-hmm. Marty, and Rab was saying as well that he said that you've very much been a kind of like a you kind of fostered this kind of mentorship with some of the younger guys coming up from like the Lightning Pirates. You know, how was that something you've always wanted to kind of do, is like for yourself, maybe move into a coaching aspect and make sure the guys that are coming up through the kind of early ranks, they're doing what's right, not just for the team but, you know, for themselves as well?
Because I coach the under 12s at Murrayfield as it is, and I don't know if it was maybe just that side, seeing like the young kids coming up and maybe struggling with little things that could help them. I don't know if that maybe just clicked in and thought like it would be easier for them if I gave them a wee bit of help. But I know that when I was coming into the SNL at like 15, 16 and having players like older players at Fife, they helped me a lot to break into the team and start getting regular ice. By just helping spot little bits in my game that I could change and would actually help me, rather than me trying to do too much. It's like for a good example, like Higgy, he was very shy at the start, so like getting him to build his confidence, like by the end of the season he was getting the puck and skating out the zone rather than just getting rid of the puck. He was taking his time, he had more confidence. Like even with Zach as well, like the confidence he gained by just getting help from like all the senior players in the team, and just having that bond with like the team being very close this season. I think it helped a lot of the young players. Like you noticed it towards the end of the season, like what everyone's been saying, like Jay started getting points towards the end of the season. It was like he started building a bond with senior players and getting little tips on how to better his play, rather than just how to better what he's doing for the team. Because you're going to win more games when you've got players that are actually trying to do different things rather than just doing what's drawn on the board. So I think helping the kids a lot is obviously going to bring the team on, because obviously we're all getting older and the kids are the ones coming through and going to be taking our spots essentially. So giving them the best help they can get is going to only help the team.
So, Chris, as captain, that must give you some sense of pride that, you know, your alternates are basically looking after and kind of bringing up the younger guys within the team.
No, aye, definitely. But like that, so obviously, me and Wally are like the oldest in the team now, and Steve came from a different background. When it was younger, it was a lot harder when you were younger. But new in society, is general. The younger ones are different. They're just a different sort of breed now. But obviously, try and mould them and try and sort of guide them to the same sort of ways we had, it's quite difficult though. It's quite difficult because just in general, a lot of kids now are soft. Do you know what I mean? Some of them need an arm around them and all that, but for me, I'm not that type of guy that would do that. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got Willie, you've got Marty, Marcus, they'll do that. I'm a bit different for that. I'll kind of just say it like it is, and if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. But as it is, obviously, like so, the guys there, they do a good job though. Obviously, with the younger ones coming through. I mean, it's but you notice, well, you'll notice a difference in the dressing room. It's a different place. It's a good place to be. Do you know what I mean? It's good, but before it was a hard place to be.
I think you've done yourself a disservice there, mate, because I think you also put some time in and you're helping, but you're right. Sometimes there's a time for a direct message, and sometimes there's time for a quote. There's just different ways to deal with different people at different times, and I think that's probably why it's started to come together. Is that there's a bit of a balance from the dynamic of the younger guys and the older guys, and it's, I actually never realised, I never appreciated how young the average age of the team was until we'd been starting to talk about it kind of the start of last year. So it's I think there's value in all of that, just so that we're all on the same page to try and move forward and get everyone better.
Great valid points, genuinely. We're obviously talking about yourselves as well as the leadership team as well, and what you guys have done throughout your careers on and off the ice as well. So Chris, I'm going to start with you, obviously as captain, and I've been pulling some stats from various places, maybe some stats you might not even know about yourself.
I don't know anything be stats or anything. I don't have a clue about that. I just turn up. Listen, if you don't realise me, I just turn up and play.
Yeah,
that's it.
Listen, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to hit you with some stats here. So what I've found is you've had 166 career appearances, 42 goals, and you're currently ranked, get this, 31st of all-time Pirate defensemen. Did you know that?
Nope.
Now you do. So it's something to either get an absolute ribbon about or chat about when the season starts back up. So for yourself, you've just mentioned kind of like, you've all just mentioned that there's no egos in the team. It's all very much a kind of it's team first. How do you help maintain that kind of mentality?
I don't know how you maintain it, if you'd like. Do you know what I mean? It's just
like, would you just kind of like lead by example sort of thing, or was there any kind of like?
It's just good days. No, I mean, I don't have any egos. I don't deal with. Obviously, I'm not a goal scorer. Do you know what I mean? But I don't deal with points and numbers and all that. You know what I mean? I just whatever you need to do to win, or the best that you can be to. Do you know what I mean? Just go out and do it. And if you need to help somebody, or like you need to sacrifice your body for a shot or whatever it may be, then that's what you do. You just do what you need to do.
So you're just
that's kind of my mentality. Do you know what I mean? But and then obviously if it filters down, then great.
So you were just talking about the fact you don't really kind of keep an eye on goals and points, but for last season, 4 goals and 2 assists with 14 points overall. Do you remember what your penalty minutes were?
Nah.
So I did a lot. So this is something I'm trying to work with. So I like to compare what your penalty minutes would have been with something else. So having a look at this, your penalty minutes would have matched the first episode of Severance, also season 7 episode 1 of Black Mirror, and season 3 finale of Mr. Robot, coming in at 57 penalty minutes this season. Is that maybe your worst, or is that maybe on the lighter side for you?
It's not too bad, I think.
Yeah,
that's not too bad. I wasn't playing all season anyway.
That's true.
He was injured.
That's it.
That's
You used to
true.
get that game, Chris.
So that's not too bad.
Because you had a broken thumb for quite a while, didn't you?
Aye.
That's healed up well. You're ready to get back into it, full on for next season.
Aye.
No, brilliant. So are you going to be taking a little bit more of a kind of hands-on approach, helping the younger guys come through for next season, kind of alongside Ian and Rab and the rest of the rest of the leaders in the team?
Continue what I'm doing, mate, as best that I can take.
That's totally fair. All right, so we'll quickly kind of move on. So, Willie, come to yourself. So you as well, you're another top scorer for this season. You had 29 points total, 12 goals and 17 assists. And I don't think you had much penalty minutes, actually, now that I see it. Sorry, you had 21 minutes in the box. You're not really that kind of guy that goes to the box often, are you?
Not really. Nah. It's not really been part of my game. It tends to be that's probably about average, I think. But similar to Chris, I probably wouldn't even know much of the numbers over the years, to be honest with you. And still get that mentality of just turn up and do what needs to be done for the team, really. So yeah.
Well, I've got those stats as well that I gave Chris. So what I've found is you've had overall 252 career points in 149 games, and apparently, supposedly ranked within the top 10 of all Pirates scorers. So something like that has to be some sort of motivation, a bit of a drive for you as well, surely.
Yeah, well, as I said, I've never really looked at that, but that's quite a surprise, really, if I think about the amount of players that have played for the Pirates over the years. But no, that's quite good. It's obviously nice to hear things like that. It's good to play for a team like Bay. I've played here pretty much all my life as well, so it's probably how I feel as if I can add to the team that is doing like that, and probably more proud of the fact that it's always been pretty heavily weighted towards assists as well. So I feel as if that's where my game is. I feel as if I'm going in whatever line I'm playing in or whoever I'm playing with, I like to think that I make the people I'm playing with better as well. So no, pretty happy with that.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, you took some time away from the Pirates and came back. When you came back, what was the kind of the feeling for you? Were you just kind of raring to go? Had you seen like a kind of a motivational shift in the team for the better? Like what was your thoughts when you came back to the team?
So when I took, probably I think it was just over 5 years out. So I had my daughter, second child. So it was just a wee bit too much to juggle playing SNL. But both my son and daughter started playing ice hockey, so I was around it for a wee while. Came back to it, and I'd spoken to Ian, and it was very much the conversation of the leagues came on. It's faster. There's a kind of younger team here that he thought that I could kind of add something to, which is good. And definitely from my point of view, I was ready to kind of get back into it. I'd played for the Mustangs at Retief for a year just to kind of get back to hockey and see how it was. And I think when I came back to as Chris said, it probably different, definitely. I think when I was 15, 16, 17 coming into the Pirates team, it was a different dynamic, and that's not a good or a bad thing. It was just different. I'd like to think of added value since I've come back to it.
Have you kind of like, now that you are back, have you got any kind of personal goals for like, for the next few seasons, or are you just kind of taking it season by season as to what your plans are?
Yeah, pretty much just taking it season by season. Like now, for example, I think it's important that when the season finishes to kind of have a wee bit of time off the ice as well. But it's just similar to Marty, both our kids are playing junior hockey, and I feel as if I've been in more ice rinks since the season stopped, to be honest with you. But I kind of take it season by season. I'm enjoying being back at it, and to be honest with you, I'm a wee bit older. I feel as if I'm a little bit more focused over the summers to do what I need to do to get in shape and be in a kind of position to compete by the time the season comes up. So, but yeah, I'm enjoying being back, taking it season by season. But I'm looking forward to this year as well.
Marcus, going to move on to yourself now. So, at 25, you've been shown as one of the youngest alternate captains for the team. In the past 20 years. Did you know that about yourself? Did you expect to be given that assistant captaincy? So not so much early in your career, but so early on playing with the Pirates.
No, I didn't expect it at all. Obviously, it's a privilege, especially with the history of the team as well. Like, just the fact that Ian and Rab had that trust in me to basically put me forward as an assistant captain. Yeah, it was an honour, really, to be a part of that leadership group, especially this year. It's something that I've actually, one of the main things in my hockey career that I'll be proud of as well. especially now that you've told me that I've been one of the youngest as well.
So looking at your stats for last season as well, you got 12 goals, 7 assists with 19 points over that and 24 points throughout the whole season. And you only had 12 minutes in the box. Well, what did you actually do to actually justify the 12 minutes? Because you seem to be more of one of the guys that doesn't get anywhere near any of the trouble.
I think there was a few that you could probably class as silly, to be honest. There was one, I went to lift a guy's stick to let Jamie skate through to get a chance on goal because he was about to poke check the puck and the guy let go of his stick, so I gave a slashing penalty for that. There was a few that I'd probably say are justified, basically just try to separate a guy from the puck just to stop them from getting a chance. But again, I wouldn't really say there was any major. It was mainly just 2-minute penalties across the board. Ones that you could basically say they're soft, or I'd probably say it's a 50-50. I'd probably say half of them were justified and half of them that you could probably go either way.
So looking at your kind of history of the teams you've played for, you've come up through the ranks in the juniors and whatnot. How has that helped build that? How has that helped build you to become such a natural leader at such a young age as well?
I think I had a lot of responsibility. Like I started playing hockey at 13, and I think just the groups that I was in from under 14s through to starting the SNL. Being one of the bigger players in the team, like especially at 14s, it was just a case of just trying to help lead by example, just the way that I'd want anybody else to try and play their way through the team. Again, it's not really about being the biggest voice in the changing room, it's really just about playing the way that you're meant to play. And I think just from guys that I've been playing around, I hope that they enjoyed at least playing with me. Because obviously I'd just rather be that type of guy that a player could turn to instead of being one that they try and avoid. Because again, it wasn't really part of my game to be like one of the kind of rougher player. Like, I'll play the game as it is, but it's never really been the case of going out and throwing massive hits and everything. Like, I'll throw a hit if I can, but it's not really a massive part of my game. It's probably something I still need to basically amp up on. But I think it was a case of I'd rather see the team progress on the point sheet instead of potentially putting my team at a disadvantage. So I think coaches kind of seen that point of kind of having me in a leadership role, because I think I was an assistant at Kilmarnock when I was there. Under 16s, I was a captain at one point at 20s. Then I was an assistant at Kilmarnock's SNL as well. So I think they kind of just took it upon themselves from just the way I was playing. I wouldn't really say it's down to like my personality, but I think it was more just to do with the effort I'll put in for my team at least.
So do you have to, kind of balance that kind of locker room camaraderie and versus your own kind of performance on the ice compared to the kind of veterans of the team?
No, I don't really think there's that much of a balance. Like everyone, like every team I've played on, that I'd go out my way to be friends with everybody, because everybody that you're in the room with, they're all there to play hockey, they're all there to compete, and everybody's always got a good personality. There's always a few, but especially this year, like our room's been great, so like everybody's been really close, so you don't really need to be like, oh, I need to be a bit nicer to such and such. Like everybody's all on the same page, everybody's there. So everybody wants to go out to compete. Everybody just wants to go and enjoy themselves as well, because again, that's why you go and play. But it's not really having to be like, oh, I need to be like this, or change the way that I'm going to act around certain people. Everything just seems to click in exactly how it's meant to be.
Hey, it's Callum here. It's just a quick interjection just to remind everyone about our website. It's paisleypirates.co.uk. From there you can check out all the news, the roster for the upcoming season, and check out the online shop where everything that you buy from there is made on demand just for you, which means it is not available at home games. So that is paisleypirates.co.uk, and tell them that Ian Turley sent you. Marty, moving on to yourself. Last season you got 18 points, 10 goals, 8 assists over 22 games. That's really impressive for for a defenseman. Especially with the assists as well, because obviously you're playing from the back. Are you able to kind of switch up your play style while you're on the ice where you're needed?
Aye. So when I was just coming into the SNL, I was more of a defensive defenseman. So I was really just playing the puck up the ice, getting out of the zone, and worrying about just being a defenseman. And then I think there was maybe 2 or 3 seasons into playing in the SNL, when I was at the Kestrels, I think we had a few injuries at one point in our forwards, so I ended up starting to just kind of skate with the puck and be more offensive in my game, and it worked out in a way where I was getting up the ice. I was starting to enjoy playing that different style, where it was maybe moving with the puck rather than just passing it and hoping that the forwards were going to score. It was more getting up the ice and making a play or getting that shot and goal or whatever. But then it just kind of became a habit of switching back and forward and playing defence when I needed to, and if the time was right, getting the puck and moving up ice with it. And it's, like I said, it's worked for me for the last couple of seasons at least anyway. So yeah, it's just a switch. I don't really notice I'm doing it or that. It's just I kind of just see open ice and just kind of try and get into it, or if I see a good play, a good pass for one of the forwards, I'll try and give them it. But as Willie and Marcus will tell you, not all of the time it's on the tape before they comment.
So last season as well, you kind of scored some high penalty minutes as well, 42 minutes in the box. Do you think that your kind of hard hitting style kind of helps shape the team identity a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. It's obviously Ian and Rob want us playing physical. I know myself, if I go in a corner and a forward comes flying in and hits me, I'm going to be looking over my shoulder every time I go in that corner. So, if we're doing that to other teams, it puts them under pressure more. And as we've said already, the league's getting younger. There's a lot more younger players. So when bigger players are coming into the zone at a higher speed for a hit, players start to make more mistakes. I would rather not get hit than be hit. When I was growing up, you were always told take the hit to make the play, rather than where kids aren't really like that anymore. I think making some big hits now and again, and it's more when it's at the right time, it's needed. But I think it does help with the way Ian and Rab want the team to play.
So you've kind of just answered answer my next question in the previous question. So as an alternate and vocal presence within the team and on the leadership side of things, what do you see as your role, kind of bridging defence and forwarding the forward players? How does that kind of how does that work with you, and how does that help as well as a kind of team dynamic?
I think a lot of it just comes down to the basics of just communicating with each other on the ice, and then as long as we're all communicating, we're all going to know what's happening, and then we can all play how we all play. And everybody's got a different style. Not everybody does the same thing every time. Like Willie was saying, he prefers to be more of a playmaker rather than the goal scorer.
Yeah.
Played against Marcus growing up since under 14s, and he was always the one that we were told not to get a shot away because he would score goals. So it's Marcus is more of a goal scorer. So it's knowing that if you've got that chance to make that play for whoever it is, doing it, and then just kind of keeping the communication going so that we all know we're all on the same page with how we're going forward, or when we're in the defensive zone, making sure we know who's got what guy, or whether to switch places on certain plays or whatever it is. So I just think communication is a big point, and helping from transitioning defence to offence or offence to defence.
Your own kind of defensive strategies, do you have any kind of special team priorities that you kind of like to favour?
Probably more power play in that. Like, I feel like I do well more on power play at the top. I feel like a couple of seasons ago it was working really well for me. Like that's where most of the goals I was scoring was, because I was getting the puck and with guys in front of the net, so I was getting shots away. But other teams were starting to pick up on that a lot. So then I got to the point where there was less chance of me getting the puck. So it meant making more plays around the zone. But I feel like power play or penalty kills, like, they're probably my stronger and better situations to be in.
You were just talking about how you kind of grew up playing against Marcus, in the juniors. How, for yourself, like you're about to find out he's about to join the Pirates. What was that like, finding out you're going to be, rather than playing against this really strong player, you've now got a brand new strong player coming to the team. Surely that must have been again a sense of pride or a kind of sense of elation for all that?
Yeah, so obviously, like, every season, like, we finish it, we want to do better next season, and bringing in players that are going to help us get through or get to a better position is always going to be a key part of the next season. Is good, and it makes you get more excited for starting the season, and it just helps build that like confidence in the team and knowing that we're going to have a bit stronger. Like, if we can add 3-4 like experienced players, a couple of goal scorers and stuff like that, then that's you're going to have a good, like, you know that you've got a chance of going and winning games and having a good season. So it does help a lot with getting hyped up for the season.
As we kind of spoke in the previous episode with Ian and Rab that you guys will, provide feedback to them on some of the younger guys as well. So we can just go around the table again here. So Marcus, we'll start with you again. Was there anyone, from the younger team that you believe has really got a good shot at going quite far in this?
Well, we spoke about him just previously there. So Mark Higgins. So he'd been training up since I joined halfway through the season 2 years ago, and he was also a strong skating player. He was very good at controlling the puck as well. But now that he's boosted his confidence, he is a mainstay in the defensive core as well. For myself, playing in games, I'm confident having him behind me, and I think he kind of knows how I play now as well. I know when I can basically cheat and bust past the defenseman, he'll be there to support if I end up turning the puck over, even if it's back checking as well. I know he's got a good chance of taking control of the forward coming in with the puck, and I can take the back checker. As well, as Marty said earlier on, Jay started to pick up towards the end of the season as well. He started producing points. He started focusing more on the team play instead of the kind of individual side of it as well. Then you've got young Zach, he's coming up, he's gaining the experience from training with us. He's pushing himself to try and be a part of the team. You've got Robbie Thompson as well. So he was on the two-way with Widnes, he's trying to develop his game so then he can get himself into consistent ice spots as well. When you see it in training, he works hard, he wants to be one of the players that Ian and Rab and all the boys can depend on. So I really think the young core that we're bringing up, they're all competing, they're all hungry for it, and they all seem to want it just as much as all the guys that have all came through the ranks. Didn't matter if it was at Paisley or if it was through other clubs before they made the move across. They all want it the same way we all wanted it as we were trying to progress into the SNL teams. And it's a great experience for them, and it's even better for us because we know that we've got guys that are going to keep going. Doesn't matter if it has to go into overtime, if it has to go into penalty shots. We've got guys that are going to give everything they've got, which I think is going to be really good for the development.
Brilliant. Marty, same question to yourself?
The same as what Marcus said. You've got the core guys that played up and trained up all season. They've been there, like some of them have been there a couple seasons, and they're getting better each season. I think a wee bit more like confidence in them. They'll be able to break into that top 3 lines, regular ice time, and be like a mainstay. And then obviously, like I've been at the Ronnie Miller tournament the last 2 weekends and watching the Lanarkshire juniors. Like there is some promising like kids coming through there. So like in the future, there is going to be a few kids coming through that will help boost in the speed side of things, and like watching some of the kids at the weekend there, they were like some of their plays and stuff like that. It was just like their knowledge of the game's quite good as well. So I think it will maybe help. Obviously, when us older ones start losing their legs and stuff like that, they'll be able to come in and take a spot and make a point of getting that ice time. So I think there is a good like group of kids coming through that will boost what the team's all about as well.
Yeah, probably a kind of similar answer, but I think Marty touched on a couple of things that I think are particularly good as well. So even from the structure of the trainings, we've got 19s training before the Pirates, and it makes it quite an easy process to kind of train up, or some of the Pirates going on with the 19s if we're kind of coming back from injury and things like that. So all the guys that have been mentioned there, yeah, that's great, and they're starting to edge into the team. But even before that, you want to start to create waves of 2 or 3 each year or more every year that are chapping at the door, wanting to come on, wanting to train, wanting to try and put an older guy out of spot, because that's what you want to do at the end of the day. And I think you start to see that. You've got kind of last year 16s training up with the 19s. You've got first and second year 19s that are starting to kind of be there and get on training and just have exposure to the kind of SNL hockey and what that looks like. And I think your actual question at the start was like specific players, that it creates like quite a good dynamic, because it's not just about the older guys kind of helping the younger guys, but the younger guys should be coming and adding something to that as well. And if that's intensity, excitement, or hard work, or even just a dynamic in the changing room, I think there's a lot of that needs to be focused on as a kind of younger guy coming into it as well. Like it's kind of think about wee Jay all year, every week was asking me if I'm retiring, is this my last year, what's happening? And my answer is always, when you are good enough to put us out a spot, then I'll be here and I'll maybe be coaching, but until that day, then we're going to work together. And it's a good dynamic, and that comes from a good place from both sides. You know, that's a bit of tongue in cheek, but that's the reality of it, is that I think there's value from both sides, and it's not just about the older guys teaching the younger guys, it's about the younger guys kind of pushing their way into it and getting a chance and keeping their spot, or sometimes even when there's a setback as well, you know, they might get a few shifts and then they're not playing the next game, or they, and how do they deal with that type of thing? I think it's not just about that linear progression. It's how do you deal with a setback, or I thought I was doing well and I've not played the next few games. Like sometimes it's just about how do you manage that type of thing, and how do you take that in the chin and come back fighting stronger and harder, and make sure the next time you get a chance then that you don't get taken out of it. You know, there's that kind of broader team element where sometimes it's not just going to be about you getting your shot, and it's going to be about what's best for the team. And I think you can actually see that in most, if not all, the young guys, that they're buying into that mentality as well. So I think that's a big part of what makes it a good kind of room to be part of as well.
The boys have covered everything there, really, but just like Marty and that's saying, just the younger guys that's good, because they should be pushing us out like a shift and whatever else. You know what I mean, they should be wanting to take their spot. You know what I mean? Obviously, daft things like we saw when I was playing for a few games, and it's the wee Higgy and everything, obviously needing to step up as well, and short of D, just things like that. It's good for the young guys now, because obviously, and it's good. That's what Willie's saying. I know it's good for us, because then you know, like, so they're going to take care of you. But as I said to you before as well, like, it's just as a sort of generation, it's different, and it's in the dressing room and all with the younger guys. It's quite funny. it's funny now, because obviously we're older. The young guys, they're good. Mate, everything's been covered with everybody else there, what they've said.
So let's get your opinion on some stuff. We heard recently the SIH are bringing in Whitley Bay and Solway. What are your thoughts on that? That means you're going to have more games throughout the season. Are you guys excited for this? Do you feel it's maybe, I'm not going to say oversaturated, but you think maybe it could be just a little bit too much? Are you looking forward to the extra games that are going to come this season?
Aye. Obviously, it's hard for, obviously, if you're working full time, whatever else, and if you're doing it Whitley on a Sunday night, whatever as well. But if you're going to sign up for it, then I commit or don't commit.
So, I would say the positives outweigh the negatives. You know, like it's totally right. I've been lucky enough to play down in Whitley. It's like a good place to play. You've got good fans, and it makes excitement, and it's a wee bit more variety in the league as well. I don't think it can be a bad thing. From a personal point of view, definitely there's going to be more travel and stuff, but we're already doing a lot of travel. We travel further to go to Aberdeen than we do to go to Whitley from where we are, so it's not that much extra, to be honest.
I think it'll bring a lot more excitement into the league as well, having those two extra teams. Obviously, I don't know what they'll do with the playoff situation. Like with last year, they had the 6 teams go through, so I don't know if they'll do the same thing or if they'll go revert back to the first v8 and just go quarterfinals situation. But I think if they do what they done last season, it'll bring a bit more competitiveness to each team, because it's not just one team that's losing out. It's going to be like 3 teams losing out in it this year, so you have that extra fight and grit to try and make that last spot if you're in that area, or if you're at the top you want to stay there.
And probably just another point on that, from like a broader player development point of view, I think both of those teams from what I hear are kind of fairly young teams, similar to us. So if it's got more late teenagers, early 20-year-olds getting into the league and playing competitive hockey, then that's surely got to be better for everybody longer term as well.
Yeah. But it makes perfect sense, you know, and it allows you all to kind of, you know, I don't want to say get to know each other a bit more, or you know, have a kind of so-called welcome party for the new teams, but it's also, you know, it's bringing that even a bigger community together, or making a big community even bigger through this new inclusion. And I think from me personally, sitting in the stands, it's going to be quite an exciting time to actually see. So just on that, you know, what other than, you know, what we just said, is there anything else you're really looking forward to this coming season, you know, personally and as part of the Pirates?
I think it's just a case of just kind of going on to improve on last year and just trying to keep the momentum going from how we kind of went on to from the second half of the season, because all the boys know that they've got that capability in them. It's a case of then rolling that on to basically starting from September, instead of us working out all the kinks, working it from September through to December, because we were still getting results, but it was a consistency for us, and it was more frustrating for us because we know we could do it. So it's a case of now pushing on just to make sure that we can keep that consistency going through the season. There's an extra 8 games now, because it'll be 4 against Solway, 4 against Whitley, and then for everybody else, I could probably say from when we all first started SNL as well, it was a broader league as well, because Elgin and everything was in as well. But we're going back to a kind of older format where there's a lot of games and you've got a lot of time to basically get yourself going. So if we can basically try and get ourselves started from the get-go, then it'll just be a good season going forward.
I'd probably agree with Marcus there. I think we're just quite excited to kind of get a head start, and we've not really had that. Just get focused, and there's a bit of excitement when new teams come into the league and stuff like that. So just similar to what Marcus said there.
Oh, guys, this has been great, honestly. So is there anything before we sign off? Anything you want to add? Anything you want to mention? You know, floor is yours, guys. If there's anything else you want to kind of throw in before we sign off.
There's nobody going to mention getting invited for the Biscuit Club, no.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were talking about that at the start about the Biscuit Club with Ian and Rab. Yeah, let's talk about. Let's throw them under the bus. What's your thoughts on the lack of Biscuit Club for the players?
I'm we need to provide biscuits for everybody right at the start of the season, all the way through.
I don't know if it's an on ice off ice divide, or I don't know if it's an age thing. I don't know where it's happened. But we're not on that club yet. We've not graduated to be involved in getting offered a biscuit at training. But
I just steal a biscuit. That's all I do.
That's what to do. Should there be like a biscuit club within the changing room?
If we'd done that, Ian and Rab would probably come through and get their own biscuits anyway. So it's not as if it was really going to stop them from getting any.
That's a fair point. So, but you'll need to ask Rab next time to bring the custard in.
We don't eat that stuff anyway, Cal, remember.
That's fine. That's like to hear. That's what we like to hear. But guys, thank you so much for tonight. And yeah, it's been really good. It's been really insightful, and I'm hoping that a lot of people listening will be able to pick up that kind of feeling of the passion from yourselves from it as well. And it might even inspire someone to even want to start the game themselves. I mean, even at that, let's just quickly look at that. Do you feel as if you could be an inspiration to someone wanting to start? I mean, obviously, like Marty and Chris, you guys were talking about your kids playing as well, but maybe not even family, just like someone watching you guys playing thinking, I want to do this. Does that kind of give you that kind of that sense of kind of motivation as well?
Definitely from my side, that you touched on it a wee bit. I really enjoy the coaching, and I'm about it with the younger kids, but I suppose it's not even really just about that. There's definitely there's more exposure, and there seems to be a lot more of a kind of growing recce side as well. Probably more people that have maybe just started watching ice hockey and fancy trying it. So there's definitely a route to start playing ice hockey more than I ever remember. Historically, maybe it's just a limited view, but my perception was you really played ice hockey if your dad or your uncle played ice hockey. But before that used to be the way of it. Whereas there's just much more exposure now, and there's more people trying it from different ages. So it definitely crosses my mind, but probably more from the younger kids' point of view.
And Chris, do we think that when Cooper's big enough, he's going to be on a pair of skates soon?
Well, he's got his A&B skates already.
Oh, brilliant.
We took him on the ice, but he didn't like it.
Did they drop the glove?
Oh yeah.
He's taking after dad. That's all he's doing. The Paisley Pirates are proud to be sponsored by Cold-Blooded Sports, Renfrewshire Council, CycleLane.co.uk, Custom Sports Stitch, Hillington Tyre Services, Al Gould Photo, Studio 13, Abbey Services, and the Falk family.